YouTube, Chris here at my home theater. Got a brand new video for you today. This is the third video today. I'm just trying to get some last minute videos in for the year and some last minute videos before I go to work tomorrow. I've already done one on the Panasonic UB820, done one on the UB9000. Now we're going to talk about the Anthem AVM90. I've had this in my theater for about a year and a half now, and we're going to turn this camera around and talk about it. Okay, so this is the Anthem AVM90, and I've had this in the theater since probably, I don't know, July of 2023 or August or September, somewhere around in there. So I've had this, and I didn't know how I was going to like it. I had some ideas, but I'm going to be honest with you, this is probably the best amount of money you can spend for a processor, and I don't know that there's anything close to it in its price range. I think this is the gap between your common everyday processors, and if you want to go next step up, you have to go to Trent-Off or some other name brand in that arena. I've heard a lot of processors. Now you can't, I don't think you can compare this to a Trent-Off, because the Trent-Off is a whole different ball game. You talking about, you know, they have a 16 channel, but the 16 channel is like $25,000-$30,000, and then you have the 32 channel. It's upwards of $40,000. This is like $8,500. I'm sure you can catch them on sale, but I just don't know if there's anything in between. I absolutely love this processor. I've heard Macintosh. I've had RCam in my system. I owned a Emotiva XMC2. I had a Pioneer in this theater. I had a Pioneer in my other theater. I'm running that Pioneer. That's a receiver now in my living room, and I'm wanting to upgrade it. But if you're going to spend just a minimum amount for a 15-channel processor, I don't think you can come out better buying anything else other than the AVM90. I've heard the AVM70s, and they sound phenomenal. So, I mean, you can get a cheaper alternative to the AVM90 with the AVM70. I've heard a couple of those in theater settings. They are phenomenal. My buddy Frankie has one, and his theater is probably one of the best sounding theaters I've had the pleasure of sitting down in. It is that good. And but I haven't ran, you know, these head to head to see, you know, what's the difference is. I don't know. I know these have the DACs. I don't know if all channels have the DACs, but it has a lot of digital audio converters in this processor. I mean, you got to have something to make it worth $8,500. The sound quality is just totally, I mean, it's incredible. Now, when I first got this system, you know, I didn't have the room done in the fabric walls. I didn't have the ceilings treated. You know, it was just sheetrock walls with, you know, treatment panels and stuff, and it sounded phenomenal. When I added the fabric on the walls, it changed the sound. It sounded phenomenal. And as I've done more to the room, now I have basically a baffle wall behind the screen. It's totally blocked off with insulation and just panels of insulation. And now the ceiling's treated. I mean, the more I have done to this room, and I know doing stuff to the room has a lot to do with it, so I understand that. But the reproduction of the sound that this Anthem has done has just blown me away for the whole time I've owned this. And like I say, the more I've done to the room, the more it has improved the sound. I just watched, and I think I've watched it out here before. or maybe I haven't, because my room, you know, I was waiting on my chairs, and I think it may have come in when I didn't have my chairs in here, so now I have my chairs. And I brought it out here for another video just to try some things out on the UB9000. So I sat down and watched it, because when I had it playing, I was just listening to the sound. Now, it is not Atmos. It is DTSX or DTS HD Master. So I was playing it in DTSX, and just the clarity and the sound, the representation that it portrayed, and just placement of sound, the avm90 just nailed it to a T. I just could not get over the clarity, the little nuances of sound in all the speakers, even in the Atmos speakers. It was just incredible at what I was hearing, and that is all thanks to the avm90, and it is performed above and beyond at everything I've thrown at it. I've cranked this thing up. I've played multitudes of different type of movies over here over a year and a half, whether it be just a regular non-action movie to an action movie to sci-fi or animated film, animated stuff. It don't matter what I've thrown at it. This thing has performed above and beyond. Now, I've had issues, which is not the Anthem. That Sofa Baton sent me a couple of remotes. I never could get this thing programmed to it, and because of Logitech, you know, they don't support anything anymore. I've never been able to get it, you know, programmed to my Logitech remote. But it don't matter, because right from my iPhone, I can control everything on this Anthem, which I do like that. The direction I'm going in controlling stuff for the room, for the best I can do, I'm going to get an iPad, and they've sent me stuff to, I actually have an iPad holder, but there was an issue with the thing that goes in here. It wouldn't fit, and so this is the, here it is right here. So this is the iPad holder, you know, sent from Valencia, but it's not working right. It won't fit into the hole that goes into the cup holder. So they're working on that, and I'm not the only one that's had the issue. A lot of other content creators have the issues, so they're working on it. It's no big deal. It's just something that was lost in when they were making the stuff. So, but you know, I don't mind having to use my phone. I use everything else with the Logitech. It's not Anthem's fault. It's something to do with the, you know, of course it's the other stuff. But the remote is backlit. If you want to use the OEM remote, I can get it out. I have it in here somewheres. No, that's the UB9000. There it is right there. So this is the Anthem remote, and it's backlit, and it's very easy to use. Like I said, I don't use it. You see it's got dust all over it. It stays in storage here with the other stuff. But I just wanted to talk about this because I hadn't really talked about the processor other than when I first got it. I've neglected to do videos on it, but I wanted to bring it out and just talk about it. It's very, very easy to use, even from the front. I mean, you hit menu, and you can scroll through it with the volume knob, and then you select. And I mean, it's just easy to use. Calibration, I can't tell you anything about calibrating because Mr. Brandon does that. He does my calibration, so I can't tell you how easy it is to calibrate. And I've run through the settings before he got a hold of it and did, you know, manual, just setting distance and volumes and volume match and all that stuff before he got a hold of it. And that was very simple to use. But, you know, hooking the microphone up, you have to use the ARC mic that they send you with it. And then it runs, you know, you run through ARC. And I really like ARC. I watched Mr. Brandon do it, and it seems like, it seems like very simple. I mean, he makes it look simple. I mean, he's the man for calibration, but he runs through it, and everything just works so good. I haven't had any kind of issues. This is 8K. I don't have anything 8K. I don't see me having anything 8K. I don't know if 8K is going anywhere. I know they got the projectors. I mean, I don't even know if there's any content other than maybe some YouTube stuff. Don't know and don't really care about 8K right now. But this is 8K compatible. But with 4K, I've had no issues with dropout. I was having an issue with my Apple TV dropping out for some reason. It would go and it would drop out and go, drop out. I have changed the cable. It still did it. I think it's something in the Apple TV, and not with this. So don't know. It's fixed itself. Hadn't had any more issues with that. Really don't know what happened, what fixed it. Maybe it was a glitch, and they called it in the upgrade. So since they went to the new iOS, I haven't had any issues that I can recall. But overall, guys, and I said the word again, I'm trying not to. Overall, this processor has performed above and beyond everything that I could ever want or need in a processor. And a lot of people say, well, you don't need 6 Atmos speakers. You don't need front wides. You know, here's my thing. It's on here, then why not use it? If I was only going to run 7 floor channel speakers and 4 Atmos, you know, I wouldn't have bought an Anthem AVM90. I would have bought something, a 7.2 channel processor or a receiver like I had. And I could run a 7 point, however many subs I got, plus 4 Atmos. But I wanted to run a 15 channel because I wanted to run 9 floor channel speakers. I like the front wides. No, they're not used all the time, but when they used, they sound great. And no, they don't use the 6 Atmos speakers all the time, but when they're used, they sound good. So that's why I run. You know, here's my thing. If I had the money to buy a Trent-off Altitude 32 or whatever it's called, you know what I'd do? I'd find me a room, or I'd build me a room that I'd use all 32 channels. I mean, if you're going to spend the money on a processor that can do 32 channels, then why not do 32 channels? That's just my way of thinking. That's just how I think about things. If I wasn't going to have if I wasn't going to run 32 channels, I'd buy Altitude 16, which is the same thing you have here. Now, I asked Mr. Brandon one time, I said, you know, those Trent-offs are a lot of money. Are they really worth, you know, that much money? And he told me now, he said, there's a lot of things that you can do with the Trent-off, which of course, waveforming, that's something they just added. So if I had a Trent-off, guess what? I would be running every channel I got on that processor. I would be running waveforming. I mean, anything it offers, I would be running it. So why not? So that's my explanation of why I run front wides and why I run 6 Atmos. It's on here. I bought 15 channels. I'm going to use 15 channels. That's just me. That's just how I look at it. And the overall effect when you find that right movie that's processed and everything like that, when it's playing, oh my goodness, it makes a huge difference in the sound. So that's why I bought it. That's why I use it. And I'm pretty happy with it. But IMAX Enhanced, very, very few films have this. I don't understand, man. I thought this was something that was going to, you know, take hold. And it really hasn't. Just few films. Yeah, Disney Plus has got it. But who in the world has any way to even listen to IMAX Enhanced? I don't, and I don't even know if I've seen anybody that does. I would love to have it. Love to be able to listen to it in the theater. I wish they would put out IMAX Enhanced discs. I'd buy them. But that's something they probably never going to do because they want it to be their thing on, you know, their streaming service to get you to buy their streaming service. That's the way I see it. But overall, I really love the Anthem. I've had no issues with the Anthem. I mean, if they come out with something better than this, I don't see how it can be any better. The only way they can make this thing better is add some more channels. And I really don't need no more channels. I would when I say I don't need any more channels. Now, when I widen this room and I go 2 rows, I'm going to run 2 sets of side surrounds. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to Y cord off of here, run 2 separate amps, or I'll run another amp, so it's just splitting the signal for the side surrounds. And that's the way I'm gonna do it. I don't know any other way to do it, but I do want to run 2 side surrounds because the people on the back row, I want them to get the same thing the people is on the front row. And I know a lot of people do the same thing, and that's what I'm gonna do. But I really don't know how they can improve on this. I don't know of any other kind of surround formats. I mean, if they could put Aura 3D on here, that would be cool. Who cares? And, you know, a lot of people say, who cares about the licenses for that? They're not going to spend the money for the licenses of that because there's really no content and content's dying or whatever. I've got 3 movies in Aura 3D. I know you can upscale things to Aura 3D, and I've experienced that with the RCam, but I did not like the RCam's sound compared to the Anthem. And the RCam sounded a bit better than the Emotiva, but as far as Anthem goes, you know, Anthem rules them all. That is the best processor for the money, bar none. I don't see a sequel unless you're going to spend a lot of money on something else. And that's just how I see it. And like I said, I haven't heard Anthem. I've heard some other, you know, higher end. The names slipped my mind right off the bat. But I've heard some other Storm Audio. I know Storm Audio is pretty awesome. But they're, you know, I feel like they're kind of in direct competition with the Trent-Off. But I mean, they sound freaking amazing. Now I can imagine the Trent-Off sounds good. But like I haven't heard. I've heard every other manufacturer out there, but I haven't heard a Trent-Off. And I really would love to hear a Trent-Off. I really do. I want to see what the hype's about. A lot of my YouTube buddies have them. They love them. And being able to do the waveforming would be pretty cool, to have the bass coming at you at different times and locations. I think that would be pretty awesome to do. And if I had it, hey, I'd be tearing this room out and trying to figure out how to shove basses, subwoofers in the wall, behind the wall, or wherever, which I think would be really cool. But I said it again, but I wanted to do this video because, like I say, I've neglected doing stuff on the Anthem, but it is. I mean, I'm gonna say it's nearly the perfect processor. 0 issues. Sound quality is perfect to me as I can hear. No issues with it, none whatsoever. I absolutely love it. If something happened to this one, I'd buy another one. I really would. It's that good. And I would buy AVM90 because I've heard the 70 and the 70s sound good. Is it better than this? Is the Anthem better than the 70? It's hard to say because I haven't heard them head to head. If I could hear AVM90 in my theater, I could probably tell you which one's better for the money. You know, you can get an AVM90 pretty reasonable, I think. But in the 90, it kind of jumps up on price. But I really like the processor. I think Anthem has really figured things out with this processor here. If you're on the fence about, you know, I got the money to get a 90, but I'm going to get a 70. I'm going to try to save some money. That's fine if you want to do that, but you're missing out, I think. I can just go by what I'm experiencing here in my theater. I love it. Sounds good. Sounds amazing. So if you're on the fence, I don't know what to get. Hey, I highly recommend the Anthem. if you're looking at something comparable like RCam, or if you're looking at a JBL synthesis. I really wanted to get a synthesis in, but I'm trying to remember if it was the RCam or something. Those, I think all of those might be made by Harman International or something like that. And I think they were very similar. That's what somebody told me. I'm not sure. I can't be 100% sure of that, but I'm pretty sure that's what somebody said. So I don't know. I just know what I'm hearing. This just blew the RCam away. What was the AVR 31, which was the high end receiver that had the it had the XLRs. It was a good receiver. It really was. But can't beat the 90. I'm sorry, can't beat the AVM90. Let's turn this camera around. It's been a long video. So guys, that's kind of my year and a half thought on the AVM90. Absolutely phenomenal processor. If you're on the fence about, hey, I'm kind of thinking about maybe getting something and don't know what I want, if you got the money, or you can find an open box or anything, I highly suggest it. So that is my video on the AVM90. Hope you enjoy it. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what kind of processor you're running, and have you ever considered a 90, or do you have a 70? How you like it? And we'll talk to you again in the next